ladies and gents. Here we are for round 10 of the Trackstars TS3 Touring Car Championship. We haven't seen them for a couple of weeks. We haven't seen any activity for them. Unfortunately, it's been all main series and TS2 for now. But the TS3 are back featuring the main series tonight, where we will have a Grand Valley 300, bringing it back to the old Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 1, Gran Turismo 3 days. You know, taking it back and a bit of nostalgia in that one. But as always, we do have my fellow commentator in Nick Patasso back again for TS3, mate. How are you doing on this fine, hot Sunday afternoon?
Yes, a very nice warm Sunday afternoon here, as we can see all the seals there sunbaking. I wish that was me on the beach right now. I wish I was able to sunbake rather than commentating. But yes, I do love a bit of commentary as well. So it's great to be back in the comms booth alongside yourself, and it's great to be here at Grand Valley. It's the first time featuring Grand Valley in the Trackstars Racing Series Championship since I believe it was 2019 or 2018, when the old version of the Trackstars Racing Series was actually in production with the old series, which was led by Jarman and by his crew in the Cool Racing Group. So obviously it brings back nostalgia for those guys, and it's also great to, you know, bring a bit of nostalgia here. You know, we bring our old gear here. We bring the old cars, the old girls in the GT 500s, the 2008 model Honda NSX, the Nissan GTR, and the Lexus SC430. But a bit of a different location here on the highways of California in America, and it's a lot different to what we've seen, to what the fans of Gran Turismo see in Grand Valley. Essentially, basically, it's all picturesque, where before it was like in a forest, more or less, you could say. So, bit interesting, bit of an interesting lab, bit of an interesting concept that Polyphony Digital have brought up with us and on Gran Turismo 7, but it still will provide some great racing, and it's going to be very tight and very narrow for drivers to make overtakes, especially with that TS3 boys trying to get their heads down and get into a rhythm and find their track position where they sit at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. They have remodeled the Grand Valley track. You know, they've restructured it, given it a different layout and how it is. I don't know what the old layout was. I can't exactly remember, but I do believe it is in the midsection there. But we are here. It is, I think, 6 kilometers thereabouts. Yeah, very tight technical cars. Dirty air and wind is going to be a pretty massive factor. They look at that 6.2 meters per second. Hopefully we don't see too many accidents here at this hairpin, because, you know, you go in there a bit too deep, try and gain a little bit more time, and then you'll run wide and run deep in there, not get a real good line through there, especially when you come down to this bottom bank section. Whole heap of double lefts, double rights. You know, it's got some not too bad flow. Apparently on the wheel it feels really good, but on the controller not so much, because, you know, as much as the controllers are quick, you know, you probably know yourself, the more time that a controller uses going straight, the better it is.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you did mention the breeze, 6.2 meters per second coming from the west. So essentially we're getting a bit of a coastal breeze there, as we can see some beautiful images of what is a spectacular Grand Valley. Whether it's suitable for racing at these big, heavy machinery, fast machinery, GT 500s, we'll find out in 10 laps time. But the first man to lead the pack for his qualifying lap is Mark Hasseldean in car number 16. So he's doing a really good job himself, running up high within the championship, has missed a couple of rounds there, but he's well in contention of keeping himself within that top 5 of the championship. And then right behind there we have Ryan Carter, who was the clean sweep victor last time out at Mount Panorama Bathurst, where unfortunately we didn't actually be able to broadcast the TS3 touring cars at Mount Panorama, and it was all a clean sweep for the man from WTC Racing in car 23. So can he back it up with another clean sweep? We'll find out soon. And then we have the returning Tony Griffin, who missed out on the Bathurst event, and also was pretty much considered for a Bathurst 1000 drive as well, but due to admin ruling, he wasn't able to participate in the Bathurst 1000, so he had to sit out of his preferred track and his favourite track in Australia but is now back at Grand Valley looking to redeem himself. And then we have Jeff Broden in 4th place, the championship leader, well over 300 points over the man in 2nd place, which is Richard Robertson from Robbo Sport Racing. So it brings out that little nostalgic rivalry. Where we talk about nostalgia at Grand Valley, we have a nostalgic rivalry between MSR and RSR, with Broden 1st and Robertson 2nd, but right behind them is Tony Griffin, not too far behind in those points as well. So it's still early days, and we still have to consider drop rounds in 2 rounds' time.
Yeah, those drop rounds are going to really shake up the standings, not only in TS3 but TS2 and main series. I've done a little bit of calculating and just behind the scenes and stuff. Let me tell you, TS2 is spicy. I've never seen it so close in the 3 years that I've been here. But yeah, this stacked field at the moment with the way the drivers going and stuff, yeah, it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. I'm excited for the last couple of rounds there. But yeah, the drop rounds can either work for you in your favour, or Barrington getting real out of shape there for the M&R group there. As Hasselbean comes across the line there for a 141, and Tony Griffin comes through at 140. But we'll jump back to those times after everyone sets them. But yeah, that rivalry there, you said MSR versus RSR, looking back to 2021, Bathurst 1000, I think it was Lurox and Speedy versus, what was it, yourself and Uzi. So it was definitely an interesting one. But yeah, and hello to Greeny in the chat, because he knows that it's spicy and he's going for that championship win. But will Green take out the championship win? He's still sitting down in the standings, but as you said, drop rounds can come into play, but yeah, we'll just wait and see for that one. But yeah, for now, unfortunately, Griffin didn't race. Bathurst dropped a couple of points in the standings, and yeah, as you said, RSR versus MSR in the championship there. 304 points separating Robinson. So, it's anyone's game with the obviously round 10, we're still around 11, 12, and 13. So yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty interesting for the final couple of rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as soon as we get to St. Croix, St. Croix C, we'll be very excited to see how this championship predicament ends and who is in contention. It looks like potentially the favourites will be Jeff Broden and Tony Griffin, who is the man just currently on provisional pole position, but he's getting a very nice slipstream from Mark Hasseldean ahead of him. He's going to use that to his advantage as they go to the start-finish line. He'll be able to gain a couple of tenths down this back straight, but he hasn't opted to use the slipstream. It's a very interesting tactic there. Has he got some pace in that Lexus that he can provide? No, he doesn't. He's only just gone slower on his lap, but then his teammate in Ryan Carter has gone ahead in position 1, currently in provisional pole position, and then their teammates in James. So far it's a WTC lockout 1, 2 and 3, with the first of the Black Rose Racing drivers in Steve Smith, and then our championship leader and 2nd place man 5th and 6th place. In 7th we have Bendit and what I believe is BRB Racing. So the man with so many team names changes, but not next to his name in 2023. It's gone from Black Flag Esports to Phantom Esports, but now settled down for BRB Motorsports. So good to see. Hopefully we get to see some solid results from him. In 8th place we have Kozelik, one of the main drivers, one of the 3 Kozelik TS3 touring car drivers. There's 3 of them. There's a father, and then there are the 2. I think there are the 2 kids as well. So it's actually very.
Yeah. So we have Q. I think this is the middle brother, and then down here we have. So that's their father, and then obviously we have the other one who was racing in main series, which was Powers, who's dropped down back to TS3. So yeah, there is 3. Mate, I get so confused doing the standings. I've got to continually check it. I think I actually screwed it up once and I had to fix it because, yeah, I was just getting really confused with who was where and what was what. But no, it's good that we do have a lot of family coming in and racing here. We do appreciate it. Just like we have in main series, we have Nightwalker, and then we have Lost Soul Reaper, which I'm pretty sure is his dad or his uncle or something like that. And then you've got Oldman as well, which is the nephew or something. I don't know. I get confused with everything. But yeah, there's a lot of family shenanigans going on here, but it's good to see.
That's good to bring a community all together and really get them to enjoy the aspect of racing and racing alongside each other. As we see Richard Robertson go 3 tenths clear, almost 3.5 tenths clear over Carter. So very nice lap there in the Nissan GTR for RoboSport Racing, looking to capitalise on his momentum from Mount Panorama, and he's sitting second in the championship. Probably might not be within contention come towards St. Croix, but is on his farewell tour for RoboSport Racing. And then next year onwards, he'll definitely be running RoboSport Racing, but not as a team. He's only going to be running under himself. So, as a team's perspective, he's looking to run that team name one last time in Trackstars Racing Series before they get rebranded to RN Racing, with the leader of Craig Hardcore taking the realms of RoboSport Racing. But so far, he's doing a good job as he runs wide onto the gravel, onto the dirt. They're very easy to do, Ryan. How much that corner narrows up on next. So that whole windy section, that whole infield section through Sector 2, you have to get right, and especially in these cars, which don't provide a lot of aero, it is very tricky.
Yeah, you know, these cars are a little bit slower, but they are pretty high in aero. But the camber, off camber, speaking of off camber, this is a very off camber corner here. You know, you're turning right, and then the car just wants to shift to the left, and then, you know, you've got a quick left to right chicane onto the run to the bridge. But we'll see if we can grab some at the back. Find this one person. There he is, bended. So yeah, all through this section here, it's real windy, and then this corner really tightens up. It can actually catch you off guard. It catches me off guard all the time. You know, and then you got a single left-hander, and then a really long left-hander here again. So, you know, it's interesting the way that they've laid the track out in just the general regard. But, me, not really a fan, but we'll see what time brings.
Absolutely, and it's very tricky. It's going to be pretty much single file from the hairpin going down the hill at the exit of turn 4 all the way up towards the bridge there into the second tunnel. That's going to be the only point of the track, kind of like Mount Panorama. It's all single file here. You have to be really ambitious to go for a move on the inside. You really need to have the confidence and the trust in the driver ahead of you to pull off the moves here, because like you say, that as we see with Robertson, you really just try to take the apex as much as you can, run the car wide, but then it compromises you for the next left-hander going into this section of the track. So it's all about trying to balance the braking performance that you have in your car, and also the driver behind balancing themselves and not to making any mistakes and taking someone out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting how the drivers are going to attack, you know, the corners, and how much giveness it's really going to take off. You know, we've had that WTC 1-2-3 now been split by Robertson, Bendit. Yeah, so they've come through. They've split that 1-2-3 at the moment. But Carter looks to be in a bit of a slipstream here from his teammate. Question is, can he get any further up the grid? Yeah.
He jumped back into P2. He lost P2 to his teammate in James, but he's got back into P2. Jeff Bruin has actually come through on that last lap to really get himself propelled up the order into P4. Is only almost 4 tenths behind Robinson in first place, but crucially 2 positions clear of Tony Griffin, who only managed to qualify in P6. So if all the dust settles so far, currently on provisional pole position for the first time in 2023 could be Richard Robinson for RoboSport Racing. There is a couple of cars coming on towards the back section of the track here, one of them being Barrington coming onto the last part of the straight here. He's not able to improve on his lap time whatsoever, as Kozelik is finishing up in 11th place. So both R. Kozelik and C. Kozelik are finishing up in 10th and 11th. But then we have Bendit. This could be a surprise package here. This man's been showing some good performance there, good pace over the last recent few rounds, but he looks like he's well down on his lap time here. So that, unfortunately, a mistake somewhere in that second sector, and that's really compromised his chances of getting pole position. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It is Richard Robertson on pole position here for round 10 of the Trackstars TS3 Touring Cars Championship here at Grand Valley, the highway section of Grand Valley, and it is his first pole position in Trackstars TS3 for 2023. Goes to Robinson, Carter in second, James in third, Jeff Bruin in fourth, and Bandit rounding up the top 5.
Yeah, wow, what an exciting quali that was. You know, Robinson definitely found some exceptional speed through that there. And then you can see Carter all the way down to Steve Smith down in 7th. He's separated by just over 2/10. So 2.5 tenths there. So that's very, very tight. And then we jump down to Hasseldine, who set the pace really early. And then you have Walker, and then R. Kuzelik and S. Kuzelik. C. Kuzelik is the other one, which is Powers. And then we have Barrington down in P12. But yeah, it's definitely got some interesting combos here. You know, you got 2 GDRs in the top 8, and then the rest are just Lexuses. So, question is, can Robinson, you know, get a good start, you know, get the power down, and take it to the guys up the front? But while we're about to start the race here, I shall also point out that the Matildas are also about to kick off versus the Philippines. So that will be an interesting one, and obviously good luck to them. But yeah, I do apologise if I'm a little bit under the weather. I just finished a 4-hour enduro on Nürburgring, so that was a bit exciting. But yeah, it's now time for TS3 and then main series. But what are you expecting for tonight, Nick?
Well, I think if we have to go from Bathurst, we saw some great racing around Mount Panorama. Unfortunately, you got caught up on a few incidents on that opening lap, and we've had to pull all the TS3 drivers to the side there just to give them a little bit of a pep talk to let them know about the stewards' viewing on a couple of incidents there. So, unfortunately for them, they didn't have a really good time at Bathurst in those opening sequence of corners. So it's really going to be all about negotiating Turn 1 and the downhill Turn 4, which is going to be the hardest part of the track because it's downhill braking first, and anything can happen when you make a mistake on the gravel trap, because one little tire on that gravel trap can really compromise someone's braking performances on their Lexus or Nissan GTR. So long as the drivers can execute those first 4 corners, then I think the race will kind of settle itself down. But the gap between first and ninth that I saw there was about just under 0.8 of a second. So it's really close. And like you said there, between Carter and Smith, it's only a mere 0.2 of a second. So that's how close this TS3 touring cars field is. The gaps between the drivers are absolutely amazing, and the performance that they bring is incredible pace-wise. It's just all about them trying to execute it in the race and who will come out on top as victor here. Robinson's got himself 0.2 clear of Carter, but can he execute a pole position to victory, a lights to flag victory here at Grand Valley, or will we see a new name, or will we see a familiar name back up on the top step? We'll find out in due course time as we wait for the green flag to go, as we wait for the start. We have started now, thanks to our host in Richard Robinson. So the man hosting gets pole position, so he gets all the official duties here tonight as part of our series admin team here at Trackstars Racing Series. But we are ready to go. I'm sure my commentator and Ryan Palmer is ready to go for 10 exciting laps here at the Grand Valley Highway. It is Richard Robinson for Robbo Sport Racing ahead of Ryan Carter for WTC Racing. Then he's got his teammate James behind, then the championship leader Jeff Bruin in 4th. Bender could be the X factor in all of this as we wait for those 5 lights to go out for the Grand Valley Sprint. We are underway. Green flag racing, a good solid start there. Barrington in the background has had a shocking start. Thankfully he's in last place, so he's not able to cause any effect on any of the drivers ahead of him. But through to turn 1 we go for the first time. Cars settling themselves in, cars pushing and shoving their way through, trying to get themselves up towards the pecking order. Jeff Bruin's gone from 4th to 7th place there, so not the start that he wanted. They didn't get the best launch off the start-finish line, and going side by side here is very tricky, and he's gone onto the gravel, he's gone onto the dirt there. Has he held it? No, he hasn't. Carnage and a cluster of cars behind there, and we've just seen Hasseldine facing the wrong direction. It is really, really tricky to go here. I don't think Jeff Bruin managed to put that car in the best place, and that has sent him down the pecking order here. He's down into 8th place. I think, unfortunately, the biggest loser out of all of that was Hasseldine, and he's still not able to get that car back up into position. And there we see Robinson. He's gone from 1st to 6th place, so something's happened to Richard Robinson, who was leading this race early on. He's come down the order with a mistake there. Yeah, it looks like it just got too heavy on the throttle there, ran it wide, and that's him down to 10th place. So not the start that we had in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Robinson losing the lead not even at the end of the first lap. Jeff Bruin, the championship leader, having all sorts of dramas here. Hasseldine facing the wrong direction, but so far it has gone wonders for Ryan Carter and James and Brad James in first and second place. Bendit holding on to P3 with Tony Griffin making 3 out of 4 WTC Racing Lexuses.
Yeah, well, what an exciting start for that one. That was definitely trying to put 4 cars into the spaces where you can't fit 4 cars. But I guess TS3 continues to surprise us. But yeah, that was a very sketchy one there for Braun. Looks like he just got pushed onto the gravel and the dirt. Not really much else he could do, except for really kind of what happened. So we'll leave that one up to the stewards as we always do. But yeah, that was definitely feisty. But obviously, as you said, biggest loser there was Hasseldean. Unfortunately, he tried to avoid, and he was caught up in it. But that's racing, and we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, that was very spicy, and I don't know, man. But Slappers must be really giving these WTC boys something. He must be putting something in the fuel or giving them something in the spinach, because they're, well, for 3 cars in the top 4, it's definitely a good showing. And would this move into TS2 when these guys move up? That's the question. But someone just slapped one of the blow-up things on the side. But, it's definitely exciting, and as I said, TS3 definitely brings all the action.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely see the WTC Racing putting in all the hard yards in the practice session throughout the whole week. Every time I jump onto the Gran Turismo 7 lobbies, I always see the WTC boys practicing, whether it's TS3, TS2, or even the main series. They're always there every single day putting in those extra yards and extra laps, and it definitely pays off with Carter and James first and second, and Tony Griffin fourth, right behind Bendit, who did really struggle through the Sector 2 section, and is coming under pressure from Tony Griffin now. So Tony needs to get right behind and underneath that rear wing of the Nissan GTR. The Lexus a little bit more slipperier in a straight line, so let's see if he can make the move done into turn 1. A little bit further back there, just 2/10, so will he be able to use those brakes to his advantage? No, he doesn't. So Bennett still holds on to P3, doing a very nice job there, keeping the car steady in third. Tony Griffin fourth, and unfortunately there, a little bit of an ambitious move there between Smith and Bruin in 5th and 6th place. They still managed to hold on to stay within that top 6 and top 8 positioning. Oh, as Griffin thinks about going for a move there, a little bit of a touch there between the 2 drivers. That sent Bendit a little bit wide there, but he's got the inside line coming into this section, backs out of it, and that gives and surrenders P3 to Tony Griffin, which makes it a WTC 1, 2 and 3, and I'm sure Von Doovy's hopefully going to join us on the stream very soon to watch his boys pretty much clean sweeping the whole podium. But yeah, going back to Blue and Brun, they're still 5th and 6th place. They're not too far out of this contention here, but a move between those 2 boys going side by side on the opening lap in the downhill section. Just not so sure if that was a smart move there by the championship leader.
Yeah, definitely. It can be done, but it's very hard. You need a lot of trust in the other driver. But yeah, it could be from putting a car there, it could be from Smith from moving over. We won't know until we look back on that one. But yeah, initial thoughts. Probably should have put the car there, but at the same time, Smith could have potentially lifted, given it a bit extra. But we're not stewards. Well, we are when we have to be. Obviously, not you, because these are a neutral team. We're not biased here. But yeah, it's definitely something that we look at after. But yeah, Griffin looked like he went for an inside move there on Bendit into the hairpin. And whether or not there was a touch, there was a rub, it wasn't really a punt to pass, but yeah, he did get the job done there. Bendit didn't see that position, really. But we do have Wade in the chat, so yes, he is watching. He's watching his boys carve up 1, 2, 3. But yes, Chris, I did pull out the spinach quote and call me Popeye. Absolutely, that's great. That's great to see. So it's definitely good to see those boys running 1, 2, and 3 on the track at the moment on lap 4 of 10. Jeff Bruin still settling in to a rhythm here, just trying to get back into his trying to find his mojo again, and just really try to get himself back up towards the rear quarters of Smith's Black Rose Racing Lexus, and then hopefully they're both going to try and close up onto Bendit and Tony Griffin for the battle for P3, because it looks like between Carter and James it has closed up a little bit. So Carter is actually losing a little touch there, but he actually gained a bit, actually gained a 3/10 there within those last few corners there. So Carter still holding on very nicely, the top 6 in the 1 picture frame there on the highway of Grand Valley. It's great to see, great beautiful pictures being broadcasted here tonight
in America. So Carter first, James second, Griffin third. And I feel like it's kind of like settling in at the moment there. We've just seen Walker make a move on Barrington up into P8. So Walker's been a little bit quiet, I will say, within the last few rounds. He was actually one of the contenders for this championship here, Ryan. And for a few rounds here, Walker just hasn't been able to string the performances that we've normally seen in the early stages. Been caught up in incidents, probably being caught up in a few post-race stewards reports as well. And it's just really kind of like giving him a little bit of not too much confidence heading towards the back end of this season. So he needs to make sure he capitalizes on this race and then as well the next race to move himself up if he's going to have any hope of getting a top 3 or even potentially fighting for the championship.
Yeah, definitely. He was fighting with Broughton quite early on for the first couple of rounds, and you know, unfortunately, has dropped off. I think it was either him or Smith that got a disqualification. I think it was Laguna Seca and Mathis as well. So, you know, they can definitely affect you, but you know, he's definitely got to kind of let it go and see where it goes. You know, that's the round, and you know, maybe the Black Rose guys are still struggling with the car setup. I'm not completely sure, but yeah, those Smith is up here. He's trying to charge on the back of Bendit and see if he can manage to squeeze out a podium or something here. But yeah, it's definitely been not Walker's finest work the last couple of rounds, but you know, we'd like to have seen him a little bit further up the field. But obviously we'll just wait and see. But yeah, Robinson dropped down into P9, had a massive mistake on that first lap. Turned his day from what will be on top of the world to pretty much trying to dig for some flowers. But yeah, so he's doing not too bad there. But we've had S Q-Slick, I think his name's Simon or Steven. I think it's Steven. But yeah, he's dropped down there into P12 behind Barrington. So you know, anything's possible still here with 5.5 laps to go at Green Valley Speedway. Yeah, so halfway done through the first race, and would have done through the weekend. So we'll just wait and see what the next 15 laps of racing has in store for these guys over the course of time. And then we've got the big one, the 59 laps of Green Valley. I'm not excited at all. I tell you.
Oh, well, at least we get ourselves full reassurance from Ryan Palmer that he's not going to be having a great race tonight. So anyone that wants to join in the main series stream, just let us know how Ryan's going to go at the end of the race, whether he's going to get a win, P2, a podium, or he's going to drop well down the order. Let us know in the comments when we broadcast the main series. But what I've actually noticed here as well, Ryan, is that the gaps between third, from second down to Bruin, now I say Bruin is down the order. He's down to P8, so he went from 6th to 8th, so something happened on his end. He's still dropping down the order, has Jeff Bruin, and he's struggling, and that's him facing the wrong direction. So what has happened? Again, the championship leader has his second half of the season is not going to plan, and Jeff Bruin is really struggling here this evening as he just starts to get on the power. He just gets on the power with dirty tyres, and there's just no grip at all. And yeah, the top two that were running in the championship are first is in 8th and 11th place, while the man that could be setting the charge in this championship, Tony Griffin, is in 3rd place. I was going to make the remark there that between the drivers, between 2nd and what was 6th place at the time, they were running very close quarters, 1.5 seconds to 1.3. That kind of showed in the qualifying stages that when it was Carter in P2 and the next driver in 6th and 7th place, they were so close. It was literally only 2 tenths separating 2nd and 6th place. So I guess in a way we're kind of seeing that resemblance now on the track there, but I think Bendit has actually formed a bit of a gap on Smith in 5th place. So between 2nd, 3rd and 4th, it's looking quite similar there, and you can kind of say as well the dirty air effect that these cars are having. Anywhere between 1.5 to 1 second, these guys do feel it.
Yeah, you know, you feel it in any car with the dirty air, but the VOP with the less power, less horsepower and stuff is a lot easier to drive with. You know, main series is definitely a real pain, but yeah, the dirty air can definitely affect the behaviour of the car, and then the wind changes as well with the speed and the direction can definitely catch off the car. So you've really got to be car. But in saying that, it looks like James here has made a mistake, and he's actually had that gap to Tony Griffin brought down to what would be 0.3 of a second, and Tony Griffin's in that slip there. Wonder if you get a run into turn 1. That's the question. He's there. Just jump forward, see if he can pull that closer. I don't think it's enough. It's going to be close. Maybe he might be able to go deep on the brakes, but I think no, he's definitely just braked early, and he's actually spooked out James and nearly runs wide. Wow, that was.
I think James managed to hold on very nicely there. Yeah, he managed to hold on with his brakes there. So I think just Tony Griffin just braking a little bit early, just to try and make sure he got around the corner, didn't get sucked in with the drag from the rear wing of his teammate in James in second place there. But I'm wondering what James does in this predicament in this championship. He's nowhere near any contention in this championship. He's actually sitting 10th place in the championship, while Tony Griffin's 3rd. He missed Bathurst last time out, but he's still within hot contentions of winning this championship. So what do you do? Do you think about the long-term game here? Do you think that James might just need to give up this position and let his teammate through to have any pose of a threat of winning this championship, or closing up the gap when they come to St. Croix?
You know, it's going to be very hard. You know, he's got still 400-ish or so points to Bruin, but the benefit on one hand is that Griffin has missed a round, so one of his rounds from his zero, so it won't affect him as much. But yeah, you know, not only that, you know, James is still fighting for, you know, potentially onwards of up to P4 kind of in the championship. You know, he's only, you know, 200 points away with still, you know, the red rounds to go. So, you know, if it was me, I'd be like, full send, boys, take what you get, leave all other tracks. But yeah, Carter's definitely done that too. But we can't forget about Carter, because he is on 1902 and Griffin's on 1985, so he's only 83 points behind. So Carter, he's on a charge here. He's going to grab 150 points for this if he can hold on to it with a lap and about 3/4 or so to go. Yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting coming into the final rounds with top rounds and stuff to play. So yeah, well.
Yeah, and he's also missed one round of this championship as well, going back through countback as well. So anything to play for the WTC boys. I mean, it could even be Ryan Carter posing a threat towards the Jeff Brothers Championship. He did get the clean sweep last time out at Mount Panorama. So far on lap 9 of 10, he is looking to solidify that positioning of first place for the 3rd time in a row here. But James still holds on to 2nd, Griffin 3rd. As we look down the order there, we can see Kuselik is having one of his better rounds here. He's obviously made his debut at Mount Panorama last time out. I think finished well down the order in that last race. He actually finished down in 13th place. So this is a nice performance to see. One of the 3 Kuselik Nissan GTRs in the TS3 touring cars field up into 6th place, and then there's Walker in 7th. Robinson starting from pole position, and just one small mistake for the man in car 20 just demoted him all the way down to as low as 10th place. He's done a bit of a recovery drive to get back up into 8th, but still he's going to be questioning his thoughts on what happened at the start of that race. But we are about to start this final lap here. Carter's still got 2.4 over James, but I wonder the gap. I wonder what's going to happen here. I wonder if Wade, the team engineer, is going to come over the radio and let one of the boys know if what's going to happen here. Will they race to the end? Will they sacrifice track position? Will they give Tony Griffin those extra points over Jeff Brook? We'll find out in due course. But Bentett's doing a very nice job here. Set his personal best on that last lap of 1 minute 40.8. So he's well into this contention for race 2 at least 10 minutes time. But don't count him out for a victory as well, because he's the fastest Nissan GTR so far in this race here. And tell me, look at that camera shot, it's absolutely beautiful here. The sun is out, the sun is shining, and we're looking forward to the main series coming up, which is going to be towards the sunset and heading into nighttime. So some positives and negatives on Bendett's race here. He's done a good job. He's managed to get himself up into P3, battled Tony Griffin a little bit too hard there. Tony Griffin may have just given him a little bit of a nudge wide there, but a little bit rubbing is racing for those guys. So Griffin holds on to 3rd. He's right closing up on James here. So I'm not so sure if the team boss has come through to the race comms and let them know just to sidestep each other. Don't try not to cross paths with each other, because it's on the last lap here. Does James give that position to Griffin? We'll find out very soon. because they are so close to each other, and that's only going to bring Bendit that little bit closer towards the end of this race here. But through the chicane, the tricky chicane, the traction loss chicane here as we get towards turns 15 into turn 16, then 17 and 18 around this 5-kilometre circuit. It is Ryan Carter going for 3 wins in a row, and he's done it in convincing fashion here. 2.7 over James. It is a victory for Ryan Carter, then James in second and Tony Griffin in third, making it a WTC Racing whitewash of the podium. Big congratulations to Von Duvi and his team at WTC Racing. Bendit holds on to 4th. Smith for Black Rose Racing holds on to 5th place. Kuzelik, a very good performance here on his second race out in Trackstars TS3. 6th place, 7th place for Walker. Robertson holds on to 8th. Hasseldine, who got caught up on that lap 1 drama, so which is probably going to be under consideration from the racing stewards, finishes in 9th place. And Jeff Bruin, after a late drama on his last lap on lap 6, finishes in 10th place. So not the race that he hopes for, Jeff Bruin, if he wants to close out this championship as the victor, as the championship winner. Kuzelik, the other Kuzelik, Kuzelik in 11th place, and Barrington rounding up the field for M&R Racing. So 12 drivers here tonight, and it has been led by Ryan Carter in 1st place, leading the WTC Racing pack onto the podium.
Yeah, that was definitely exciting there. As you said, whitewash from WTC. Tony Griffin coming through with the fastest lap with a 1 minute 40.1. That is a rapid lap. Fantastic job there. Lexus 1, 2, 3 as well. Carter 3 in a row, mate. Get out the broom. Get out the sweep, mate. You're on fire at the moment. I wonder if it would have been interesting as well if that like if he had this, a little bit better form going through round 2 to 4, and even round 6. So, he was a little bit down on points there. He got 216 in round 4 and then 220 in round 2. So, I wonder if he got a couple more points, where he would be in this championship fight in relation to obviously Braun Robinson and Griffin in front of him. So, yeah, it can be a little bit interesting coming into these final rounds, but yeah, what a race that one was. That was a little bit exciting there. But yeah, as you said, we had Carter come through in P1, James in P2, Griffin in P3, rounding out the podium there. Bendit P4, Smith in P5, Kuselik. I still apologise if I pronounce your name wrong. I'm not good with pronouncing names. Walker in P7, Robinson P8. Very unfortunate there from Robinson, was that lap 1 drama there after the hairpin. Just his own mistake, and his day went from good to worse. Hasseldine, good recovery from P12 there. Braun, not where he wants to be in P10, especially considering his championship rivals are up the front. The other Kuselik coming through in P11, and Barrington coming through P12. But yeah, wow, what an exciting race that one was. That was very interesting. A lot of action there, and 9.8 seconds separating the top 5, and then you got 19 seconds back to P6. So those boys up the front, they definitely got some sort of pace there. But we are in the middle here of the 2 races there. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, grab a drink, grab a snack, and we shall be back shortly for the race 2 here of the Trackstars touring cars. So just sit back, relax, and we'll be back very shortly for race 2. It's been requested I go on a hot lap from Nick, so I might as well do the tradition in the It's Racing Nissan GTR, which should be venti, but unfortunately he's got a bit of personal health that he's looking after. Not the best, but yeah, we'll go through this lap of very scenic Green Valley, as you can see over there, a lot of sun, a lot of people.
I don't think there's too many people on the left-hand side. I think that's water on that side, Ryan. There's an ocean there, so I don't know if you'll see people there. Maybe on the boats, you'll definitely see some people there. But as we go around here, it's very, as we saw there, it is very fast-flowing sections. And that incident that we saw with Hasseldine and Squirrel going down the section, down through the downhill section, is very, very tricky here. So as we get confirmation there from Robertson, the settings will be changed so we can set the grid order. But going through this section here, Ryan, in this GTR, what are you feeling? What are the feelings that you have so far going through that whole section? That just the real tight, twisty corners, and obviously for us, or for those that run on the controller, how bad is it on the analog stick trying to get around those corners?
It is pretty hard trying to get it, and you know the direction changes and stuff. It's pretty hard to get it right, but if you get it right, it feels really good. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it for 59 laps straight, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of an interesting one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as what we thought was a little bit of congestion up here into turn 1 in the opening sequence, we did see pretty much as small as probably about 4 cars going 4 wide into turn 1, just really spreading themselves out. So. And then we got down to this section here where it was Smith and Jeff Brown running side by side there. It just closes up so quickly, as you can see there. There is no room at all there. So I would say, in a way, a driver will need to try and make sure they give a little bit more racing room there. Maybe just for drivers just to pull out and just really compose themselves before they get to that downhill braking, because it really sets you up for this section here as we can go through turns 9 through turn 10. Very understeery corner there. You have to brake it and just get a big old flick through turn 11 and then through one of the first tunnels here. Only a very small tunnel here going into turns 12. And there you can see the bridge on the right hand side. It's a very tricky part of the section here. Just try to keep it on the left and then give it a good old flick to the right hand side and onto the bridge here on the highway at Grand Valley. Making your way through to turns 14 here, the second part of the tunnel here. Very tricky, like you said earlier, very off camber here, so you have to really run it narrow on the right hand side, then give it a bit of a flick here left and right, and the car doesn't really like to respond. In any car that you drive around here, whether it's a Group 2 or any high performance race car, it is very tricky to get right here. And then you come through towards 17, 18, and then finally turn 19 onto the pit straight here through the last tunnel. Burst of sunlight there, and that is going to be our hot lap for car 95. And in the hands of Ryan Palmer there. So thank you very much there, Ryan. Hopefully, yeah, we did see a couple of mistakes there, and now we've just seen a big mistake there on your end. But that's okay. You know, I think we'll give that. I think we'll let you off the hook on that one. So as we get ourselves ready for race 2 here for the TS3 touring cars, who have you got that could surprise us? Could Ryan Carter go for a double victory here tonight, or will we see someone else go for that victory? Could we see someone like Tony Griffin propel himself up towards the order, or will we see the GTR in Bender come through?
You know, anything's possible here at the moment, but you know, I'm thinking I'm probably going to go the underdog. I'm going to go with Bender on this one. You know, he got caught up at the start there, and you know, if I think he gets a good start, he can really come through the field. So I think we'll wait and see what Bender's got in store for that one. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting for that one. So you know, 10 laps to come, and I think it's really anyone's game. But just while we're waiting here, the Matildas are currently winning 3-0 against the Philippines, if anyone is caring to watch.
Oh, there you go. Even that's a nice little intermission break there for our Matildas. So 3-0 up to them. That's good. But as I was just saying, as I was trying to get my microphone unmuted there, and I was just actually saying that what does Jeff Brun need to do, Ryan, in this part of the race here? He's starting in 10th place. He's got a whole gaggle of cars ahead of him, which includes the championship contenders in Griffin, Carter, and Robinson. What does he need to do to try and get himself back up into that top 5? Does he need to be patient on that opening lap? Does he need to go a little bit aggressive? Does he need to kind of like be a bit more aggressive on that aggressive side, push the pass, try and go for aggressive moves there that he normally doesn't really do in his caliber of racing? What do you think is the strategy for car 18?
I think he's just gonna have to go full send, but safely. You know, that's always the way.
Cool.
You know, we don't like people being, you know, dirty racers or anything like that. But yeah, he's definitely going to go full send and as best he can, and try and make up as many positions as he can, salvage back some points, and then yeah, see what you can salvage back from P10, and hope that all the cars in front either make a mistake and you can take them, or something happens. But yeah, sorry about that. I was just watching Matilda's get another goal, so it's currently 4-0. But,
absolutely.
But yeah, they definitely see. This is what happens when they play in Perth. This is why Perth shouldn't exist, or they should be at the same time zone as Sydney, because it's really inconvenient.
I'm sure. Hopefully, our resident championship leader in Ridwan is actually not listening to the broadcast there, because I'm sure he'd be quite offended with that. But anyway,
he can be offended with it. It's all good. We'll just I don't know. He'll get over it. He's, as they say, I'm always short, so he's tall enough to get over the joke.
Good stuff. Well done there to my colleague in Ryan Palmer. But we are ready to go here for the final race here for round 10 of the Grand Valley Sprint. Can Ryan Carter propel that WTC Lexus back to victory lane and get 2 wins on the trot? Can he go 4 on the trot after what was a successful Bathurst sprint for car 23? But he's got his teammates right behind him in James and Griffin, and then we've got our underdogs in Bendit, Blue, and Smith and Kozelik. But watch out for Jeff Brun down the pack. He's going to be making his way through, but the 5 lights are on, and the reds are rising here at Grand Valley. We are underway. A bit of a sluggish start for Carter again, but he's still got that second phase working to his advantage there. So James holds on to P2. Griffin looking to go for that inside move on his teammate there. A lot cleaner amongst the TS3 drivers here going to turn 1. Very nicely done here by the drivers on this time round. So well done to all the drivers. And it's very important to have that opening corner very clean here, but this is where it becomes a danger zone here. Turns 4 as we see some late dives there. We see a huge send there for Jeff Brun. We talked about his aggression and what he needs to bring into this race here. So far, he pulled the car up perfectly. He's already up to 8th place, so already making 2 positions on the opening lap.
Yeah, that was a massive send there. Oh, what's happened here? Who's this? This is Smith. Something's happened here.
Contact. Bit of contact made between that. Oh, he just got too much on the throttle there. So there you go. So Smith just unfortunately getting on the throttle there where he didn't need to. He's down in 12th place and struggling to get the car in a straight line. Unfortunately for him, what was a great first race hasn't worked out for Smith, down in 12th place, and his teammate in Walker's inside that top 5 actually, so he's gone very nicely inside 5th place. Carter still holds on to P1, Griffin 2nd, Bender now holds on to 3rd place. Hasseldine has come from out of nowhere from 9th to 4th place for Mark Hasseldine, well done. And Walker up into P5, Robinson and Jeff Brun. So some great starts here by all the drivers behind him, and unfortunately Robbo's got himself a penalty there. Is that a 3-second penalty? Did he pass on the yellow flags? Okay. No, never mind there. Okay. Oh, and then here comes James. He's got a good run on Jeff Brun. He wants that 7th place back. He's going to go for the inside move. Can Brun hold it around the outside? Better braking performances from the WTC racing driver in car 56. He's got the move done very cleanly, and that is James back up into 7th place after what was a little bit of contact made between himself and Bendit, and then unfortunately the second preceding one was with Blue and Smith there. As we can see, their car's very aggressive going into 3 and 4. Oh, a little bit wide there. Did James go in 8th place? So I'm not so sure whether it was a little bit of a push to pass between those two We'll find out at the end of the race here. But Jeff Brun back up into 7th place, and now wanting to close up on Richard Robinson in 6th place as we get the timing, as we get the penalty burn zone coming up onto the bridge here very soon. So it's very important for Brun to be underneath that 2nd mark there, because these cars pretty much stop dead on this highway here, and you do lose quite a fair amount of time. So he might only lose 1 position to Jeff Brun, so if he holds on to position 7, he might be able to do very nicely there. What does Jeff Brun do? He actually hasn't, so Robinson still holds on there, so fair play to car 20, and still holding on to P6, but a lot closer is Jeff Brun on that car of the Nissan GTR.
Yeah, you know, we saw the Lexus isn't as strong in a straight line as the GTR is. Look at that corner exit there. Robinson just thought, thank you boys, see you later, I'm going out of here. He got on that corner exit, cleared it, and he gapped himself to what would be nearly 6 tenths there. So that really made struggle to get a good run on him to try and make any sort of move into turn 1 there. But yeah, that's a massive start there by, as you said, from Hasselbean up to P4. Then up to P7. So yeah, it's definitely good to see the drivers on the move, but Carter at the moment's got nearly a 2-second lead here with Griffin under the pump from Bender, who's got Hasselbean just over 1.2 seconds behind. So yeah, anything's possible here with 7 laps to go. So yeah, I'm still excited for the rest of it. But yeah, lap 1 and lap 2 were a lot cleaner this time, so that was a very positive thing to see.
Yeah, a little bit cleaner there. Unfortunately, a couple of mistakes on the exit of turn 6 for Smith and what looked to be James in that WTC racing entry. So a little bit cleaner in those opening sectors, but of course, drivers still started settling into a rhythm. Cold tyres on their wagons. As you can see there, James has actually gone ahead of Jeff Brun. So Jeff Brun really struggling around this track here. Probably not one of his favourites. He's been, like I said, I think like I called it earlier in the broadcast here, Ryan, he had a very strong start to the season to his campaign in TS3 touring cars, but just towards the back end of it, once he started to see a little of those faster drivers come in from FR Racing and a few of the others, he's just dropped down a little bit. He's just probably lacking a little bit of confidence in his Lexus and trying to keep that car, needing to keep that car ahead of Tony Griffin and Carter, but so far he's in 8th place, and the two that he's trying to fight this championship are in 1st and 2nd, so really struggling in this second half, but there's still a long way to go in this championship and anything can happen, so he needs to make sure he gets his heads down, full focus, wait for mistakes to happen with the front runners, because anything can happen around this 4.94 kilometre layout at Grand Valley.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually pretty sure they remastered it. It's turned into about 5 or 9. So yeah, it's definitely interesting here. But yeah, Brun, not where he wants to be, as we said earlier. Especially as you said, his main championship contenders are sitting in P1, P2. But we've got Robinson up into P6 here.
Walker! Walker's gone for a little bit of a half spin there, which turned into pretty much a full spin. So he caught it initially, but then he just lost it. So unfortunately for Walker, 5th down to 7th, which was going to be more positions lost for Walker, and his championship hopes is slipping away from Black Rose Racing. Was right up there in the early phases of the championship. He's got his teammate behind him in Smith, but unfortunately for Walker and Smith, it's not good to see those Black Rose Racing boys down the order there, and unfortunately their team boss in James Lee, and Jimmy Superfly won't be too excited to see his cars down the order in 10th and 11th place. So a lot of work to do in the background to get these cars back up towards the front in the next round. So very unfortunate for Walker there, holding on nicely into P5 though, so I will give him some credit there. He did a good job to get that car into position 5, but unfortunately you don't win it on the opening lap here. It's a 10 lap sprint for these boys, and they have to be able to complete 10 laps to get their car in their respective positions. But this battle pack still resumes between Tony Griffin and Bender. These guys have been inseparable throughout the whole event here tonight, and it's been always Griffin ahead of Bender. Bender just runs a bit wide, makes it compromises the entry, but gains on the exit there. You can just see how much he's gained. He pulled in 2 tenths on the exit of turn 1 there. You can see there that slipstream really working towards him. Can he send it onto the inside of turn 4? Oh, just not brave enough there. The gap was closing on Tony Griffin. So very nice, respectable racing between these guys, and it's good to see some hard racing for them for 2nd place.
Yeah, they're doing definitely giving it a good crack here, and you know, Bendit. We didn't see much of Bendit before this season. You know, I think it was well, if he's raced in the past, I'm not too sure, but it is good to see him here in TS3. He has definitely been one of the more consistent runners at the moment. He's just been a little bit unlucky with some results of getting some vehicles. I think he'd end up getting a penalty from the stewards in other rounds. But yeah, I think he's definitely one of the most consistent runners, and I reckon he's still counting down the day where he's going to get his inaugural track stars win. So you know, as a round win. So yeah, it's coming, but when that will be, I think we'll wait and see. But you know, I'm definitely waiting to see what Bendit's got cooking in the oven. So and when he's going to serve it up to the guest track stars. But, yeah, he's definitely doing pretty good there. But he's got a run here on Griffin. Can he get this GDR past Griffin into turn 1? Griffin's defending on the inside. He does come down on the brakes at the same time. Solid work there. Griffin does pull it up there. But yeah, wow, that's
Oh, caught the curving there, and that he caught the curving on the exit of turn 1 there. That really unsettled that Lexus, and unfortunately as well, Bendit did catch it as well. So both cars a little bit unsettled there going on into turn 1. So that the curve is quite high. Obviously, if drivers haven't actually driven around this track, the curving going into turn 1 and especially down towards the tunnel section and through turn 18 and 19, those curbs are really high and they really unsettle the car. If you want to ride those curbs, you don't want to really be riding those curbs, mind you, because it is very, very tricky and it really unsettles the car, just shifts the car the opposite direction. So Bendit losing a little bit of time here to Griffin, probably the little aero wash coming from the Lexus onto the Nissan GTR, just hampering his progress on lap 6 and 10 here. But we're seeing a few names down here. James has moved back up into P5. Jeff Brun has made the move on Richard Robertson in 6th place, but is closing up on James here. So very interesting lines here. That's actually a good analysis there from our cameraman there. The different lines that those two drivers make, both James and Brun. So James runs a very wide line to straighten the car up as quickly as he can, and Jeff runs the narrower line, just hoping to hug the apex and really just find traction on exit. So very different driving lines here, and I think Grand Valley offers that for any car, any forms of racing, because yes, you have a lot of off-camber corners, but you can really use those off-camber corners to your advantage if you get the braking zone and the entry right.
yeah, definitely. It can be interesting on where you place the car and stuff like that, and also in comparison to the driver in front of you. You know, when you're sitting behind them, you can really analyse what kind of lines they're taking. You know, where they're strong, where they're weak, where you're strong, where you're weak, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely a bit of an interesting one on how each driver does it, especially being in TS3. You know, as we call this the rookie. What a stage there from Jeff!
There.
Wow.
Oh. he nearly took out James there. He had to take a little bit of evasive action there. He was braking a little bit late, obviously broke a lot later than James there, but he took evasive action, took the inside line, knew he wasn't going to be able to pull the car up there, but very ambitious move there from Jeff. And I did say as well, he needed to be a little bit more aggressive in this second race, and we just saw signs of that aggression there. A little bit too much there, but he's applying pressure on James. He's a lot more confident in this race now. He did lose out to James in the opening few laps, and then James drove away, but unfortunately now the pendulum has swung towards car 18, the championship leader. He's right underneath the rear wing. Are they going to go side by side into the tunnel? He tries to close the gap. Jeff runs wide again, a little bit deep on the brakes. And can he hold it around the outside? Gives him the inside for the chicane. He doesn't. That's going to offer up the chance for Robertson to close up that little bit. But man, this is some great racing for P5 here. Mark Hasseltine has gone away from this battle pack, running his own race in 4th place. So top drive to him. But the battle pack is on here between 5th place, between James in 5th place and Jeff Brun in 6th, as we can see those cars closing and closing. Not enough momentum for Brun this time round, but he's got only 3 more laps to try and get inside that top 5 and really not have those championship points hurt him too much at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if you're that far down the field and you see whether you're on the championship contender is, you want to try and salvage
He's
back
looking.
as many points as you can. He's going to go for an inside move here. James gives him the space. Very good driving.
Beautiful.
But can he's still got the inside run here. Or Jeff just gets past him there. But yeah, very nice driving from the boys there. Not as much of a send from this lap as what it was last lap.
No.
But yeah, James wasn't. It gets a little sketchy there. He wasn't able to get the over and under, as people say, the crisscross done, because he did really hold that inside line there. So yeah, definitely a lot better there from Braun. Well executed, a lot better than the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, obviously on that last lap, he was just testing the braking limits on how much he could apply on the brakes there. And we definitely saw the send on the previous lap. But this time round, he executed it nice and perfectly. Just a nice clutch move there from the championship leader here. And this battle still is not over for second place here. Bender still holding on to the rear end of Tony Griffin's car 62. The man that is third place in this championship will probably take back P2 at the end of this race, and Carter's not too far behind in this championship as well here. He's about to go almost for a clean sweep here tonight. With 2 laps to go, anything is far from settled. We did see Hasseldine set the fastest lap with a 1 minute 40.5, so a nice competitive lap there for Mark Hasseldine. Just running solo in this race here, but he's losing a little bit of time here. He lost time, a lot of time, 1 minute 45 on that last lap, so serving a penalty next to his name here, and he's closed, and the gap has closed between himself and Jeff Brun. And if Brun's sending some really good moves there on James, what could he do to Hasseldine with only 1.5 laps to go?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and what the potential is there, but you know, Brun can see him in his sights. No, we know Brun, and I reckon he's going to be trying to close down that gap. But with 1.5 laps to go, I don't think it's going to be quite enough for him to close that. Plus, pass him as well. You know, it is pretty hard to pass him if we don't get a run in the dirty area and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be interesting on what he can do. But at the same time, he's got James all over the back of him as well, so he's got to look out for that. In saying that, we've got Robinson up here to P7. He's really closed down onto the back of James. So you know, can we see Robbo snatch another point there for P6 and close the gap to Tony Griffin as well? We'll try to anyway. We'll salvage back as many points as we can. Unfortunate mistake in Brisbane.
Yeah, absolutely there. And then looking down the bottom of the field, we can see Koselik in 8th place. We did see the other Koselik in 9th place, but unfortunately just got overtaken there by both Smith and Walker. So it looks like he's made a mistake there on his own accord, unfortunately. So 9th and 10th go to the Black Lorries Racing Lexus. What could have been a strong performance for those guys, unfortunately, has gone from bad to worse for them. And then we have Koselik in 11th place, and Barrington running up the rear of the field in 12th place, with only 12 runners running with us tonight here. And as we are on to our final lap of race 2 of the Trackstars TS3 Touring Cars, Ryan Carter has extended that gap to 3.4 seconds here. We can see the mini map there between the battle for second place really closing up at that, but the battle pack for P4 is still on there. It's almost involving 4 cars in it. It's so incredibly close. We don't know which way to look, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely. We don't know which way to look there. We do have that little battle as well for what will be P5, P5, 6 and 7. So, but if something obviously does happen, we do have one of the Q slicks there saying if that happens, or he's a little far back, but Robinson all over the back of James here in the battle for P6, and this has given Jeff some fresh air to try and charge down to the back of Hasseldine, close that down to 0.6 seconds. And yeah, wow, can Jeff get a run out of the last corner and potentially, you know, have a bit of a drag race to the line and see if he can beat Hasseldine? But yeah,
he's gained a lot of time as well. Absolutely. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go towards the start-finish line there. Looks like Tony Griffin's just defended off from Bender, but it's not going to be enough to close up anywhere near Ryan Carter. He's gone 2 on the trot here at Grand Valley, but he's gone 4 in a row in race victory. So it is Ryan Carter taking the clean sweep here at Grand Valley. Big congratulations to the man in WTC Racing. Tony Griffin second. Then we have Bendit in 3rd, and then we look back towards the back of the field here. Hasseldine is just holding on to 4th place. The gap is closing. It's not enough for Jeff Brun. Hasseldine holds on to 4th. Brun in 5th. Then we have James in 6th. Robinson closing down in 7th place. Lost a little bit of time on that last bit of the section of the track. Then we have Kozelik in 8th, then Smith 9th, and Walker rounding up the top 10 after what was a strong performance by Walker in the early phases, unfortunately dropping well down in 10th place, unfortunately, with a couple of mistakes made on his part. Then we have Kozelik in 11th place, S. Kozelik in that fact, and we have Barrington rounding up the top 12. So it is a clean sweep for Carter Ryan. Well, it's actually funny enough, his name is Ryan Carter. So, so there you go. Ryan taking victory here at Grand Valley for the Grand Valley Sprint here at Trackstars TS3 and Touring Cars. His teammate Tony Griffin in second place. So these two are going to be battling it out within the championship. So it's going to be so close to see who comes out on top from WTC Racing. But the key thing for them is they have started to close that gap ever so slightly, closing the gap on Jeff Brun, who finished in P5 after starting P10. So a nice recovery drive from the man that's leading the championship. But they are closing that gap and they are hunting for that championship.
Yeah, they're hunting for that championship, taking all the points they can out of Jeff Braun and Richard Robinson. They're definitely doing what they can, working overtime in the WTC camp, and it's definitely paying off for the guys there. You know, as you said earlier, Carter 2 in a row here, 2 in a row at Bathurst, 4 on the trot. Wow, that's definitely interesting. They just shy of fastest lap as well. Robinson got that with a 40.4. But yeah, that's definitely exciting. But we run through the grid here as we're running a little bit behind time. So we've got Carter in first, Griffin in second, Bendit in third, Hasseldine, fantastic recovery there from P9 in fourth place, Brun in fifth, also a recovery from P10, James in P6, Robinson P7, R. Kuslik in P8, Smith in P9, Walker P10, S. Kuslik in 11th, and Cowboy in Barrington in P12. So, yeah, wow, what a race there. That was a lot cleaner, and yeah, that was a lot better to watch. There wasn't so much carnage there, but yeah. I think that was a good day there, and you know we weren't there to televise Carter getting his 2 in a row there at Bathurst, but yeah, my driver of the day, mate. I got to give it to Carter. He didn't get it last week, last round, sorry, so I'll give it to him this round. Doing a solid job there, and he's definitely put in the hard yards, and you know he definitely can get rewarded for putting in the hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. A very good shout there for driver of the day there, but I'm going to give it to Bendit actually. He's actually recovering from what was a very big penalty at Mount Panorama in race 2. So to come back from a race 2 catastrophe of that opening lap at Mount Panorama, to come back, get yourself a P4, and then getting yourself onto the podium for his brand new outfit in BRB Motorsport. He's done a very top job there. He gets my driver of the day here, but it is still going to be a fantastic end to this season here. The boys have been working wonders here on the track here, keeping the track nice and warm for us here in the main series. So we're very excited to bring you all that telecast being broadcasted to you by the man in Jarman Doubts, and potentially we might be having the Chris Lashbrook joining him into the commentary box. Unfortunately for him, a hardware malfunction with his PlayStation 5 has ruled him out of this Grand Valley 300, which brings in the returning Pat Trapper, the 2023 Formula Trackstars champion, into what is his first outing in the Trackstars Touring Cars Championship. So we'll be seeing some good. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see some good progress from the man that's substituting from Lashbrook, but we'll get to hear from those two in the broadcast in under an hour's time here. So thanks to Ryan. Thanks for bringing all the coverage here on Trackstars Racing Series for the TS3 Touring Cars Championship from the Grand Valley Sprint. I have enjoyed everything. I've enjoyed all the racing here, and I'll leave you with the final words here, my friend.
Yeah, it was definitely good to get back in the combox with you at this very spectacular Grand Valley Speedway. And here I wouldn't class it as a speedway, but yeah, it's definitely grand. And yeah, it was definitely a good race there. Mills in the chat there. The championship is pretty close at the moment between Brun, Robinson, and Griffin and Carter, between 1, 2, 3, 4, especially with drop rounds coming into play. So we'll keep an eye on that. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for Trackstars TS3 here, round 10 at Grand Valley Speedway for their sprint. Results will be posted up as soon as everything gets all sorted. But for us, that is all done and all sorted. As you said, you will have Jarman Dallets for the main series, and Chris Lashbrook, it has been confirmed. So yeah, we've got main series as well, and then next weekend we do have the Trackstars TS2 and TS3 from Fuji in Japan. So we're going from Grand Valley, we're going all the way over to Japan for a very spectacular Fuji Speedway here at Trackstars. Main series finally get a week off, thank God. But yeah, it's definitely been very good there. But thanks to everyone for jumping in from all the admin here at Trackstars, myself, Ryan Palmer, and Nick Patasso. As always, love working with you, mate. That is it here, ladies and gentlemen, for Trackstars Touring Cars TS3. Join us in just under an hour for the main series championship. Question is, can Ridwan make it another win, or can someone stop him? That is the question. Wait and see there. As I said, just under an hour's time here at the Trackstars YouTube channel. And until then, see you later and catch you all next